Good morning and welcome. My name is Timothy Lee, and I'm a mining analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. We welcome Mark Brennan, President and CEO of Cerrado Gold. He will speak to us about Cerrado's gold production and development projects in South America. Mark, you have 10 minutes, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the link below. Take it away, Mark.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm just going to go through very quickly the corporate presentation for Cerrado Gold. We are looking to become an emerging mid-tier producer. I'm very tempted to change the actual title of this slide to developing the world's lowest cost producer of gold, which is our Brazilian asset, the Monte do Carmo asset, which is the asset we started our company in early 2018. We were introduced to a project in Brazil where we had two geologists who we'd known for a long time. They actually discovered and grew the largest undeveloped deposit in Brazil today, about 7.4 million ounces. They came to us in 2018 talking about how they thought that this deposit and this district had about 5 to 10 million ounces. And we've gone in there and we started the program, and we've been very excited with the developments that we've had over the course of a very short time frame, just over 3 years. It's culminated so far in a resource of about 1.3 million ounces of an average grade of 1.85 grams in the ground, open pittable. And what's really intriguing here is that we've completed a PEA recently, and basically this PEA shows an NPV 5 after tax of $617 million, an IRR of 95%. And the reason we have that, and that's just a spectacular IRR. I have never seen anything quite so much in my life. And as depicted in the commentary below, if you look at the first 5 years of our production, we will have about 150,000 ounces of production per year, with an average cost of about $431 US. When I go to S&P and I look at their data, their IQ, market IQ, I don't see another gold producer in the world that'll produce at these costs. It's a very clean ore. It's a very good characteristics of the ore, and we're in a phenomenal jurisdiction in terms of we're in a heavy agricultural, industrialized state where you have a lot of, it's very flat. Basically, you've got soya and corn being grown, a lot of industrial plants and such, so the community are very well versed in terms of bringing industrialization into the country. And so we're being very, very well received there as well. So all the ingredients you need. We're now looking to bring this to production on the one hand, where we're targeting to complete a feasibility study in about a year's time, and then looking to start construction sometime in Q2 of 2023, with production by the end of 24. And as I mentioned, we'll start at about 150,000 ounces per year. The market is looking, we're currently looking at about 125 million of capex to build that project. So it's a very limited amount that we're looking for. So a really spectacular project. On the second hand, what we're doing is we're looking to continue to explore very aggressively. We've got 7 or 8 different deposits that I'll talk to you about in a moment. And those deposits will all look to feed on a hub and spoke basis. They'll look to feed a centralized plant. In March of 2020, we acquired Minera Don Nicolas in Argentina. It's in Patagonia. It's about 1,800 kilometers from Buenos Aires. It's in a very mining-friendly province called Santa Cruz. We have some significant production all around us. We have Newmont producing 350,000 ounces. We have Yamana next door to us producing 250,000 ounces a year. We have Anglo producing 250,000 ounces next door to us as well. And they've produced about 8.5 million ounces from that project to date. It's a classic epithermal system, very similar to Nevada. And the reason we made this investment was because we saw the ability to produce 50,000 ounces per year as a base case over a course of 8 to 9 years. And we very much believe that theory is still in place. We believe we can make that production at about $1,000 all in sustaining cost. And basically what we're looking at is that should generate at $1,800 gold, that should generate somewhere in the region of about 30 to 35 million of free cash a year. Argentina, we're currently treating very much as a bubble, and it sustains itself. but you may have seen a production profile. We put out a production Q3 production we put out today. We're ramping that up. We acquired this just in March of 2020 when COVID was just starting to take off. It's a very, very difficult environment to work within in Argentina. Argentina probably has the worst COVID restrictions of most countries that I know of. But the team down there have done a phenomenal job, and we're very, very pleased with the acquisition of that asset. Not only do we see that 8 to 9 year production at 50,000 ounces, but we also see substantial potential for exploration growth. There'd been no exploration on this property for the last 6 or 7 years. And now we're coming into the property and we're looking at exploring it fairly significantly. We have 2 world-class assets, significant production, currently starting at 50,000 ounces, targeting 250,000 ounces by the end of 2024. These are cheap ounces. In Brazil, as I mentioned, $431 all-in cost for the first 5 years. We will stick at about $1,000 all in for Argentina, but still generating very strong growth. We're looking at rapid expansion. And it's really important to note, we've got a very, very strong team of builders. We created a company called Desert Sun in the early 2000s. We sold that to 700 million to Yamana, went to Largo, built Largo. It's $1 billion company now. Then we brought this project by a couple of groups, a couple of geos from Belo Sun, the Volta Grande deposit. So really strong team to drive this production profile that we're looking at. And that's been done in tandem with significant expansion in our resource. As I mentioned, we're going to look at expanding the exploration. We're going to look at expanding the development, largely through the programs that we have and that are pretty well known to the market. Because of my limited time, I want to highlight just a few points that are quite critical to each asset. I mentioned really important quality of the mineralization. This gold is in Brazil. Basically, we're looking at a hydrothermally altered and sheared granite. We're looking at coarse gold, non-refractory. There's some sulfides there that are where the gold is not interstitial too, and so it's liberated gold. But the sulfides are where we generally tend to see the highest concentrations of gold right next to it. Again, looking at our location, we have the very strong support of the local community. We have a 2 kilometer from our site, we've got a paved road. 5 kilometer, we have the major paved road for the whole district, for the whole state. And then on top of that, we have a 69 kV power line running through our property. We have an estuary from the major river coming into our property. So everything, all the ingredients here are really in place for rapid development. And again, what a project to develop. Limited CapEx, 125 million of CapEx will bring us into production. Our lead project is the Cerrado project in red. You can see on the map on the right-hand side. And then we have 5 or 6 other deposits, 7 other deposits that we're going to be looking to bring into this project. And what the structure is we're looking in the pink, you can see the granites. In the green, you have the felsic volcanics, the quartzites in the yellow. And we're just going along that trend. We've had a lot of success between the felsic volcanics and the granite so far. The quartzites less so, but we're still working on that, and we're just trying to uncover what the formula is to develop the ounces there. But it's a very prolific area. Lots of historical gold. If you look at this is the Cerrado deposit, which is our lead deposit, and you'll see all the gray and all the white is a historical drilling, historical mining that's been done by garimpos as well as the conquistadors in the 1700s. There's a lot of workings here, which is usually a very, very good sign of gold is available. This just reiterates the PA that we completed. I'll mention that this is the second PA that we've completed on this project. We're now going to feasibility. We've used this group G21. They used to be called Coffee Consultants, or the people come from coffee. And the fact of the matter is we use them at Largo, we use them at Desert Sun. We're very comfortable in their work. We believe that while this is only a PA, that it'll have the full weight and effect moving into the feasibility. So we're looking at essentially an 8-year project, 125 million of CapEx, including 25 million of contingency. looking at a project that'll produce 130,000 ounces per year over that 8 years. But really important is to note, in the first 5 years, we're going to generate 150,000 ounces a year, and basically that'll produce 150 at $1,600 gold. That'll produce 150 million of free cash per year. It is a truly remarkable project that we think we'll be able to expand the production profile for a considerable period of time. I talked to you about the high quality of the ore. Really a feature of because of the quality of the ore, it brings our cost down, both on the OpEx, because we don't have a lot of retention time in the tanks, and we're not using a lot of chemicals. And then for the CapEx, we can just use a conventional facility. This kind of shows you that where we find the gold, it's really on the margin of the felsic volcanics. That's been where we've had the greatest success so far. Here's a topography, very, very straightforward topography. And then, as I mentioned, we got the lead project, Cerrado, surrounded by about 7 or 8 other deposits. Very quickly, Argentina, again, it's a very, very friendly, mining-friendly district. You can see we are the largest landowners on the belt with 143,000 hectares, surrounded by really strong production. Of note here is that there's been $120 million spent on this project. So infrastructure is amazing. What they weren't doing well was the mining. What we've done is we've come in and we've really focused on increasing the throughput, increasing the grade, and taking that up from 2 grams to 5 grams, which is the average grade on the open pit operations, which is generating a lot of cash. And as I mentioned, as we go forward, we're looking for that 8 to 9 years of production, 50,000 ounces of base case. We will be looking at bringing in a heap leach operation. We've announced that we're looking at a heap leach operation, and I expect that we'll be looking at some production profile to have that by the end of Q2. We hope to be in production at around 20,000 ounces per year, probably somewhere in the region of about $1,100 per ounce. And basically that'll add another 10 to 15 million of free cash at $1,800 gold. Lots of exploration, lots of area for growth here. We own 333,000 hectares. It's a huge property with lots of potential. We sit right next door to Yamana. We sit right next door to Anglo. So some really high prospects to move forward in, again, a very highly prospective district with very limited exploration. We're starting to see a lot of majors coming into the project, into the district, as a consequence of the fact that it hasn't been highly explored. Capital structure, we've got a market cap today, I believe, about $120 million. Management and directors own about 40% of the company. And then we have a pretty good retail distribution, as well as with institutions. That's in a very quick summary, Tim, the Cerrado story.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark, for the excellent presentation. We do have a couple of questions here. I'll start off on the kind of following up just on the drilling and exploration side. When would you expect drilling results from the 2 properties in the near future? Well,
yeah, one of the issues that we run into with regard to particularly in Argentina, but we've had issues with respect to getting back. The turnaround times have been slow. We had some issues with a lab in Brazil because of COVID. They weren't getting turnaround times. We had 90-day turnaround times, and so we've now moved over to SGS, and the turnaround times are getting better. But I would hope that we'll have some results in the near term. Basically, what we've been doing is we've been focusing on 7 or 8 different areas. And those 7 or 8 different areas, we do like 5 or 6 different holes, maybe up to 10 holes, and then we wait to see what the results are that come back. So for Cerrado, which is the lead project where the 101.3 million ounces are, we find that the resource is we're pretty comfortable there. So it's really been these other areas, and really we're trying to pretty much start from scratch at these areas. So it does take a little bit longer to get that going. Argentina, I would expect some results in the not too distant future. We're plugging along and have been working pretty aggressively on exploration.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you everyone out there for joining us today.